All right, so question number 3, we have talked about this. So it says complete the table below, and here it says a proportional relationship between the number of gallons used by the school van and the number of miles traveled. So first, we know that if this has to be a proportional relationship, we always think about the constant and proportionality, because in order for this to be proportional, the same number has to be multiplied by x to give me y. That makes a proportional table. So something times 4 gives me 110, something times 10 gives me something, and then something times whatever the constant is gives me 330. So how do we find the constant and proportionality? Well, I don't know what times 4 gives me 110. I'm not sure. So what I'm going to do is I know that the constant, which is k, is always y over x. Now, how do I know what y is and how do I know what x is? We know that x is always on the left and y is always on the right. And if I want to find the constant proportionality, I have to divide my y value with my x value. So what I would do is be like, okay, we have 110 divided by 4. Now, if you look like Illuminate, usually will give you tools to work on. So you could use the scientific calculator here. So always check if they give you a calculator at the corner. And we're going to see, okay, I have 110 divided by 4. And it says here the answer is 27.5. And so I'm going to write this is 27.5. All right. Now, this means that 4 times 27.5 gives me 110. And if I want to make this table proportional, everything has to be multiplied by 27.5, all of my x values. So I'm going to multiply 10 by 27. Oh, I don't have room. 0.5. Now, if I'm not sure, again, we could use the calculator. So we're going to clear it. We do 10 times 27.5. And that gives me 275. So in here, your answer would be 275. So in this blank, it's 275. Okay. Now we know that here, this is going to be something times, we know that the constant is 27.5, right? I just don't have space, but this is a certain number. It has to be times 27.5 to make this table proportional, gives me 330. But if I don't know what times like 27.5 gives me 330, we do the inverse, right? So if I want to figure out what times a certain number gives me an answer and I don't know, we can always divide. So I'm going to do 330 divided by 27.5. And again, you could use your calculator because the calculator will always help you. So I'm going to clear it and we just do 330 divided by 27.5. And that would be 12. Which makes sense because what that means is 12 times 27.5 gives me 330. So this whole table tells you have to complete it to make it proportional. In order to do that, you have to find the constant proportionality. Now that you found the constant proportionality, you can multiply your x values by the constant to give you your y values, which is what I did for the first two. Because I don't know what times 27.5 gives me 330, I ended up just dividing the two and getting 12. So the main thing is you have to find the constant of proportionality to make this table proportional. You have to.